Hello, I'm going to talk more about variables in Scratch. You might have used variables already or you might have not. But anyway, variables is a very good way of storing data to be used by various sprites when you are using Scratch. Right, so when you make a variable, there are two options. One is that it can be used for all sprites in your program or for this sprite only. And have you ever wondered why and what's the difference? Well, if it's for all sprites, then all the sprites in your program will be able to change the value of this particular variable. And also they can also read the data stored in this variable. Whereas if it's for this sprite only, then it's only this sprite can access the variable. Now, is there any advantage of that? Of course, because sometimes you don't really want some variables to be changed by everyone. And it is difficult to maintain and difficult to find out problems if there is a problem. And then also some of the variables, you may want it to be specific to that particular sprite. So for this is a Hangman game. And what I need is a lot of these letter sprites. And each letter sprite represents one letter of the word. And so it could be the first letter, second letter, third letter, and so on and so forth. We can call it letter number. And the letter number will, the position of the letter will be decided by the letter number. And also whether it should be, which alphabet it should show also depends on the letter number. So letter number is a very important variable for this letter sprite. Now, I will create a letter number here, and it's for this sprite only. Okay. So at the start, what I want to set this to the appropriate letter. So it's the first one. I'll set it to 1. Okay. So what it needs to do is to go to the right position first. So when I receive reveal letters, which means that I have to see whether I need to show myself, then I will have to go to somewhere. Okay. Now this somewhere will be decided by, at the start I will show a number of dashed lines that represent the number of letters in that word. So the letter should be slightly above the lines, and also there may be an offset for this. Okay, so y is simple, which is that y plus the offset. And for x, I will need to do a bit more of the calculation because each subsequent letter will move to the right. So times and some of these. Okay. So the first letter will be the start x plus the offset. But for each subsequent letter, we have to move the width of the dashed line plus the gap, which is line length plus gap. So for the first letter, you don't have to move. Second letter will be 1 of these. Third letter will be 2 of this, and so on and so forth. So what you need is letter number minus 1 times this. And we need to add these two together, and that will be the x position. And then next we'll have to check whether that letter at that position is the alphabet that's being keyed in. So we need to say if letter number of the word is equal to the alphabet. Okay. Then we will set itself to that alphabet and show itself. Right. Now to test it, I'm going to just review the letter the word first. A bit of cheating here. Right, okay, let's see. Click the button to start. So this one starts with a E. So it should show E. That's very good. And see if we change this to 3. And see how it goes. And then, so it should be H. And it is H here. So the next step is that to copy this a number of times to cover the length of all the words. Okay, so I'll do this. So now you can see that I have copied this 14 times. So I've got 15 of those, and then each one I'll have to set it. So the first one will be 1, the second one will be 2, and the third one will be 3, and the fourth one will be 4, and so on and so forth. Now you can see that I have already set it. So the first letter number here, no, is 1, and the second one is 2, 3, 4, come on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's see. We don't need this. Do we need the current word? I suppose you can guess, but then we'll use it anyway. Okay, so click the button to start. Oops. Right, okay. So if we have A, it should show 2 A's. Yay! And then T, E, U, R, M. Okay? So actually what we have done, you can see that even every letter sprite got a letter number, but they are different. That's why you can use this to position the letter differently and also show letter differently. Isn't that cool? Well, if you want to know more, this particular way of doing it is like, in other programming language, it may be called global and local variables. So this letter number is a local variables, whereas these current alphabet is a global variables. Or sometimes in this case, the letter number, because although they are called letter number, they are all called letter number to each sprite, but each sprite has its own letter number. Say in some object oriented programming, it can also be called private member. Alright, I hope that you'll have more fun with Scratch. Bye.